he's settled into the weight now, Shane, here with this, getting started in the second half of the season. He's a big, tall drink of water there at 125. Got a big bone guy and a great frame. Tough in the top position. Can't push into him too much. You're going to get a slide by if you do. So it's really a challenge for Ybarra to kind of stay in position and just go out there and battle.
Ybarra, redshirt freshman out of Tucson, Arizona, Sunnyside High School, three-time Arizona State champion. 5-2 this season.
And that's the one thing that Hildebrandt has not got off to really fast starts. He's been able to go ahead and move steadily through the course of the match and build on leads.
Last week we saw him against Michigan. Fell to top-ranked Nick Soriano of the Wolverines 2-1. Followed that up with a major decision at Michigan State against Tristan Lujan on Sunday.
Good reaction there by Ybarra. He took that good shot right there. Wasn't able to get to it, but with that range that Hildebrandt has, was able to go ahead and square up and get back up to his feet. That's a good sign for the Hawkeye.
No score, 60 seconds in. One of 10 individual matchups here in Iowa City. Hildebrandt this season has scored 6 takedowns. He's given up 1. The two-time MAC champion for the Chippewas.
The second takedown attempt there by Ybarra, and is able to go ahead and get back out. I think what Ybarra doesn't want to get into a pushing match, because that's what you're going to see right there. You put a lot of pressure forward into Hildebrandt, you're going to see that slide by, and he follows up really well with that to get to somebody's legs, gets to his opponent's legs, and long, rangy wrestler.
Yeah, when you see him in person, he's tall.
Yeah, he's a couple inches, it looks like a couple inches taller than Roman Bravo Young, the 33-pounder. Had a great national tournament last year, 4th place finisher. Won a lot of tight matches.
Had a nice win over Brody Teske, 4-2. That was in sudden victory. In that 3rd place match, fell to the 15th seed, Patrick McKee, to go for a great tournament. 5-3 was the final there. 50 seconds, no score in this first period.
And Ybarra's doing exactly what he needs to do to stay in this match, and that's what you want to do. You want to, this situation, gain a little confidence. It's not a physical match right now at this point. Both guys having a difficult time. But this, I sense that Hildebrandt has been able to score quite frequently at the end of the period. Look for him to go through one of his best shots.
There's a single leg, and Ybarra able to kick away his right leg. The fans appreciate that effort. Good defense there. 20 seconds for short time in the first as they wrestle forehead to forehead.
And just the little subtle things right there, even the little head snap there the crowd got into. So there hasn't been much physical action, but they know that they're a little bit undermanned right now, this crowd does, against Hildebrandt, and they're happy with this first period.
Of course, Spencer Lee has manned this 125-pound post, and he's been one of the all-time greats. 3-time national champion for the Hawkeyes, of course, recently undergoing knee surgery. We wish him the best in his recovery. He'll be back next year aiming for that 4th national crown. We're neutral here in the second.
We're neutral, and that was Ybarra's choice, is to go ahead and go on the feet. And I think it's a good call. Doesn't want to go under that long, lengthy pressure. He had a good period.
Would you say advantage Ybarra in that first period?
I really would. I think advantage Iowa anyway. And I don't know if necessarily for Ybarra, but the Lions have to be thinking that this is bonus point opportunity for this big duel. And go scoreless in the first period with not a lot of action here doesn't really favor the Lions, but Hildebrandt's one of those guys that gets a takedown, he can get up on top of you here, put up back points, and I think that they know that, and that's why Ybarra chose neutral.
In that win against Michigan State, he picked up his first major decision of the season, did Hildebrandt. Back in 2020, he was a 6th seed at the national tournament. That didn't happen. He was 31-3 that season, so he's had a really good career. Inside of a minute.
There's a committed shot there by Hildebrandt. He's going to switch off to a double, and he'll get the points right there. Taking advantage of that long reach and bringing his lower body to that knee pick and driving through and getting the second leg, and good work. And this is trouble for Ybarra right now. He didn't want to be in the bottom position.
Hildebrandt will go to work on top, building his riding time. Note that Penn State scores the first takedown in this duel. Ybarra in a tough spot, Jim, elbows out.
Yeah, you don't like to see that if you're rooting for the Hawkeye here. You get those elbows out. It's really easy to grab those wrists right there, and you see that figure 4 up high on the leg right now. Not a lot of action by Hildebrandt to really trying to turn Ybarra, so, but a 2-0 period, and you're in big matches in this situation. Finish the period in the top position is huge.
Hildebrandt riding time near 50 seconds. He'll finish the period on top. Here's that first strike.
Yeah, take a look at that, the reach, and watch him go ahead and get a better angle as he drives across and takes that long arm and reaches across. But it's not just the reach, Shane, it's to be able to drive with the lower body and getting bouncing and moving. He's able to collect that back leg.
Green on top.
Hildebrandt will start period on bottom.
Tight waist ride there. Ybarra trying to get a little bit of that riding time back.
Hildebrandt to his feet. Now he's got a single leg and a switch off to a double. A scramble here by the Nittany Lions. A reversal. Now 4-0.
Yeah, you just see the size difference. This Hildebrandt is just huge at this weight class and able to go ahead and hit a nice little switch right there. But again, if they in a great position to open up this match, and I think that looking at the Penn State corner, they're really wanting him to stay in the top position. The best way for him to extend his lead here is in the top position, see if he can get a tilt.
He's going to take riding time over a minute. Slides legs in. A lot of pressure on the Hawkeye Ybarra, extending him underneath. He's flat on his belly.
And this is the point in the match here where you got to keep moving in the bottom position if they're the Hawkeye, because you know, you get dominated like this, you can start giving up stall calls and starts.
And in a match like this, Jim, this is big if you're Ybarra. Right now, you got to fight for the team. You cannot go over. You have to keep this in a regular decision.
Yep, you've got to try to hopefully work hard, maybe hard enough to get a new start right now. But again, both legs are in. You can't really turn a guy right there, and there's a power half right there, and Ybarra guts it out right there. That's a pretty good job. Looked like most guys would go over, but it's tough to do that when you've got both legs in.
Green style,
there's a stall call on Ybarra.
That's one of those dominating positions where you've got both legs in. He can't turn his hips if he wanted to right now with both legs in. Hildebrandt's got to pick a side and try to turn the hips in that direction.
Goes back to that half Nelson. A lot of pressure on that left shoulder. Is he going to go over?
He is. Right there, he's got points as he goes over. He's got the high bridge. That's going to be 2 points.
Inside the final 10 seconds, a turn for 4. Hildebrandt is fired up. It's a major decision, his second of the season. With the riding time, 9-0. Hildebrandt over Ybarra.
And you mentioned this before off camera, Shane, and I agree with you here. You talk about the last 3 years. One of the guys that has improved the most in the country is this man, Roman Bravo Young. So tough with his defense, being able to explode with his offense.
He is just so well-rounded.
Yeah.
On his feet, Jim, 52 takedowns. He's only given up 1, and you see him creeping that left shoulder back.
Creeping that left shoulder back, and now puts him in a good defensive position. See how he's going to slide back right there, circle out of it. He knows that right arm of DeSanto is what he wants to get on his tricep right there. He's not giving it to him, and he'll come to the wrist right there. So that's the adjustment.
Good shot from DeSanto, but the hips from RBY. DeSanto head to the outside on his shoe tops. Can he finish it against RBY?
It's tough right here. He's got to shoot slices flat here. RBY is dangerous. He's got to go ahead and try to switch off to the double here. Can he get him off of his feet? And that's where you see that defense showing up one more time. Heavy hips, and
they wrestle at the edge. DeSanto now to his feet, but limited real estate for the Hawkeye, and they're out of bounds.
Which he didn't do now. Now he's in a worse position here, being down on his knees. As he comes out the back door, he switches to double. And he's going to settle in this position for the stalemate. Looks like it.
Austin DeSanto having some words with the official.
I think it's about the ankle tie that he's taking right there.
And now the intensity is picking up.
Well, he's feeding off this crowd, Shane.
You said it, Jim. Get 15,000 friends to support you. Half a minute here in this first period. Some good action. We're scoreless. But DeSanto, with a few shots, he's gotten to the legs of RBY, but hasn't been able to finish. These two met in the Big Ten final at State College. RBY beating DeSanto for the third straight time after losing the first two. There's a stall call at RBY.
I think that's a great call. DeSanto has been the aggressor in this situation. Now they're looking for that ankle back. See how, so they're going to end, but that was a great sequence there by Austin DeSanto.
There's Tom Brands, the Sheldon, Iowa native in his 16th year in 14 tournaments, 4 team national titles. They've taken home 12 trophies, 6 Big Ten championships.
Great first period by Austin DeSanto. Was clearly the aggressor in the first period. And this is where Roman Bravo Young has really improved, but that's great news for DeSanto getting that quick escape.
Inside of 10 seconds, the Hawkeye is on the board. See that whizzer position from RBY as they wrestle near the edge.
He's able to scoop the leg. Can he improve his position from here?
Keep illegal, keep illegal.
DeSanto hunting for the head. He'll go back into that front headlock.
But these front headlock moves are pretty good, Shane, to get ahead and stuff the guy's head, make him breathe a little harder, get him out of his pace.
DeSanto, a 3-time All-American. He was 3rd at the national tournaments. A little bit early that time was the Hawkeyes' first caution.
I really, at this stage of the match, I really expect Roman Bravo Young to, what's his go-to shot right now? What is he feeling out there? Because he hasn't hit any offense. He's just trying to solely go off of the offense, play defense here, roll around, create scrambles.
Familiar position. DeSanto, though, stalled again.
That's a stalemate. Again, with this type of action, in these circumstances, with this crowd, you can get that stall warning.
He's already got one against RBY.
And the crowd knows that. That activity level has all been in the favor of DeSanto. Again, does RBY have an answering shot? Right now, it doesn't look like he's hunting for it.
There's the second call on RBY. Another point for DeSanto. He leads it 2-0.
Head stuff, you see this ankle roll right there. The adjustment that DeSanto has made has been able to keep those ankles clean. Going to try to roll through and create a scramble, but DeSanto doing a nice job of staying in position.
You can just see how comfortable RBY is here.
Stop.
Potentially dangerous call. And trust me, there's been conversations with the officials. I'm just presuming that they've had conversations with the officials about DeSanto in the way he covers and grabs those ankles.
Tom Brands up on his feet, yelling at J.R. Johnson, the outside official. Here's RBY.
There it is.
Just like that, he ties it up at 2. Now can he finish period on top?
So important because DeSanto gets out here, it's tie match. And this is where he's been able to improve.
2-2 to the third period.
Let's take a look at this Roman Bravo Young takedown. Just an elbow shuck right there. What he does when he gets you off balance right there, he runs to the right. He's as good as anybody in the country. He just ran to that single leg.
Such a quick finish from RBY, so smooth and fluid.
Yeah, just a beautiful just elbow pass and then just running towards it. Very similar to what he was able to hit
DeSanto
in the finals of the national tournament.
Early in this period, committed in the top position. Again, RBY, 2 stall calls against him already. Riding time a non-factor.
It's a non-factor as far as where it is right now, but DeSanto can really help his stock right now by maybe getting riding time during this sequence here. I don't think he wants to let him up right now. He wants to stay in the top position. He has the ability to collect some riding time already up to 9-10 seconds. Getting a little bit high though. And RBY's right back in on the shot.
Could be a reversal.
Still green in control.
No points yet.
Still green in control. One right neutral.
Gets out of it, so escape. And he's right back in on the shot.
There's DeSanto again. He trails it by 1 with 1:10 to go. Underneath those hips of RBY.
Exactly, Shane. Dropping that hammer on those hips on the. You see that DeSanto's in a little bit worse position than he was before after that shot. There's just not that second move once he gets to the leg. He's got to move quickly.
1-point match here at 133. A matchup of 1 and 3 in the country. DeSanto trying to knock off the reigning national champion.
And this is the part of the match you stay disciplined with your strategy. Not giving that tie up to DeSanto, not putting him in that position. Staying in the middle of the mat, looking for your offense. It's too early to go defense.
35 seconds. Hard collar tie from the Hawkeye.
Easy with those hands.
If DeSanto can take a little bit more forward territory, he might be able to get that call.
RBY staying center of the mat, maintaining territory. A couple of half shots there from DeSanto.
Really, RBY has not moved out of the center. Now he drops back into a shot. Great time to get on his offense and close out this match in on the leg.
He's going to hold on to that right leg. And Roman Bravo Young. That second period takedown was critical.
Ankle bands,
And he remains undefeated.
Ankle bands first. All right.
Couple words exchanged by Roman Bravo Young and Austin DeSanto.
You know what? There's history between these two. And the guy who goes out there and wins the scrambles is probably going to win this match.
Hard to believe these two met at the NCAA championships in 2018. It was Eierman, a major decision, 12-4. In that Big Ten final last March, Eierman winning at 6-5 with a riding time point, and then 2 takedowns, 1 in sudden victory for Nick Lee. And when you speak about Nick Lee, Jim, you refer to shallow shots because Eierman likes you to be deep.
Yeah, he does. He wants you to go ahead. He wants to take you into deep water. He wants you to drive in on that right leg of his. He cuts the corner so well. And the adjustment that Lee has made has been able to go and take a more shallow shot, switch to a double, hit an inside trip there for a finish in the national finals here to win it in sudden victory. So look for Lee to go ahead and continue that momentum, that pace. And I look in this match, the adjustments will be the national finals. Eierman went out there and chased Lee hard, straight on doubles, 2 or 3 times, and really kind of wore himself out in that match. I don't expect that in this situation. I expect a more calm, cool, collected Eierman.
Couple attacks exchanged. Eierman and Lee, both 4-time All-Americans.
And the thing about Lee, Shane, is that he really puts a lot of forward pressure, really works your head hard, and when he finishes, he can finish with his head on both sides of the body. So it's really difficult to cut the corner on him. He's made great adjustments and improvements in his wrestling style and his finishes.
Picked up his 100th victory against Lehigh. 106-13 for his career. 80 of those victories bonus points. He caught underneath, a shot by Eierman.
Good for both wrestlers right there. Shuck by Eierman, getting the leg back. It looked like that was a tight fireman's carry, but also good for Lee because got back to the neutral position and he can hunt and peck and stay on the attack.
Eierman, a 4-time conference champion, 3-time MAC champion for the Missouri Tigers, and of course beating Lee to claim the title in the Big Ten. Eierman out of Columbia, Missouri. Nick Lee, Evansville, Indiana. 45 seconds here in this first period. Penn State leads it 7-0. They got a major decision from Drew Hildebrandt at 125. Roman Bravo Young in a tight one. He nipped Austin DeSanto.
Nice reactions there by Eierman to that sweet little drag there that Nick Lee did. Again, if you can't lift up and go for the attack, you go ahead and go around it with that arm drag. These two guys are, particularly Lee, is really good at getting that subtle little angle before his shot. Right there, see now he's off to the side a little bit. We'll see if he's able to do something here. Short time.
Short time, gentlemen, short
see,
time.
he's off to the side with it, and he drops in on the leg anyway. He's just, that's what he is. He's just always looking for that angle to take that better shot.
Lee and Eierman a scoreless first period here tonight.
Well, he's the Olympic gold medalist in calm, you know, and that's, you couldn't have a better guy to bring a team in and have them, give the best version of themselves because he's just so calm there in that corner. And the guys go out there and perform for him.
Nick Lee, mat return, going to work on top.
Yeah,
talk about calm. Nick Lee is calm also.
Yeah. His feet off that energy, always trying to improve their wrestling positions.
Good adjustment there
Still
by
alive,
Lee
gentlemen, still alive
to
here.
get that right foot back inside the circle. He's building riding time now past 30 seconds.
And this is really important for him because this gives him the opportunity to, go in the down position if he chooses to, if he collects
No
riding
action.
time. Championships, it was about that mat wrestling. He got riding time. And a quick escape is really what he needs to do right now. Comes back up, and that's the way you do it, right? Threaten the man with something up top and upper bodies, circling back into him, and Lee just gave up the position.
Eierman, second period escape, leads it 1-0. Eierman at the national tournament has finished 5th, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd. Will this be the year he makes that final step to the top? Oh, there's a throw from Eierman, and Lee able to roll through. Wow.
No control, gentlemen.
He's going to go through it again. He's got that chest wrap, and then too much of a gamble at that point in time, and Lee was able to adjust to it and get the double leg. Huge sequence there. Now he's back to riding, really putting Eierman in a bad spot.
5-1. Eierman, he went for it, and against a guy like Nick Lee, he's just so good.
Neutral.
Maintains such great position, awareness.
Work center.
And the advantage time is at 111 here, so don't expect Lee to go down. Probably has an opportunity. Oh, beautiful shallow shot right there at the edge, and he collects the two.
Two more for Nick Lee, and he gets it with a second left in the period.
With the reaction.
That picture said it all. Lee up by 2. He's got riding time at 111, and he's exactly where he wants to be, on his feet.
The old coach saw what a lot of people did. You didn't have to go for that second one, but that's the type of wrestler that Eierman is. He's always looking for the big moves, and he had the element of surprise on the first one. The second one, not so much.
Nick Lee reminds me of a great pitcher. It's going to be tough to hit a bunch of home runs off of him. You got to play some ABC baseball, in this case ABC fundamental wrestling to beat him.
Yeah, and now he's got to go back to that strategy that he had in the first the national finals match, where he's got to probably dive in on some double legs, take some space shots, create some action where he can look for something big.
If he can get a takedown, Jim, and take 11 seconds of riding time off, we'd have ourselves a tie match.
And that's, again, you just got to get the first one and create more activity. These Penn State wrestlers, actually every wrestler here in this match so far has been right there in the middle. They're not playing the edge at all.
Hey, come here.
You're keeping your own balance, and when you're trying to hold the lead, don't lean into your opponent. Don't reach and lean. Looking for Eierman to increase his activity level. This is the time where he has to go. He's got to kind of create something. Space shot.
His defense from Lee, some fakes by the Nittany Lion.
Heavy pressure on that collar tie right there on the back of his head. Staying in his stance. He's a full foot below him right now.
And Eierman's going to get a takedown. He's got a chance, Jim, to force sudden victory.
Absolutely.
As he erases riding time. He runs out of time and he loses by 1. Quick shot off the whistle.
Right into that double leg we talked about there, but Lee's able to go around behind and he gets the quick takedown.
8 seconds into sudden victory, a takedown from Nick Lee to silence this Hawkeye crowd.
Right. Took him to the limit. Nothing but get better in that Penn State wrestling room since the last time they met.
Michael Kemerer, 25-1 all-time here inside Carver Hawkeye. That loss, Jim, in January of 2017. It's over 5 years ago. That was the Jason Nolf done at 157, over 5 years ago.
This will be a battle.
1 and 2 in the country. Locking horns here at 174, the duel 10-10. Kemerer, 4-time All-American. Starocci, impressive as the 2021 Big Ten Freshman of the Year. Capped it off with the national title As you said, Jim, another year in that Penn State room. Expect big gains from Starocci.
And they've just done that. He's just continued to get better. And you take a look at him, he's taking territory in his matches, in and out. He's diving in on those legs. And I think one thing that was discounted right there is just how good right here he is in finishing or just getting back to a neutral position. He can take risk, and he comes back, and I think he's extremely strong in his core. Really difficult to take down. Great balance. I was talking to David Taylor about Carter in the Penn State wrestling room, and really impressed with this young man's work ethic, how he goes about his business every day, trying to improve. He's serious about wrestling.
He had a gritty national tournaments. He was the #3 seed in the semis. He knocked off the #2 seed, Demetrius Romero of Utah Valley. 2-0. Here's Starocci, single leg, double leg.
Great job by Kemerer squaring his hips up. Just sinking down, getting a little bit better. It looks like he was, most guys get taken down right there, let's face it.
Hip defense from Kemerer to keep this 0-0.
And again, in the Big Tens, Kemerer was able to get to his shots. And great flurry. The timing of Starocci has been pretty impressive as well.
It looked like Starocci had him, but Kemerer and those hips.
Nice shot there again. Got a left-handed shot right there. A little crack down here. He's pretty solid with this roll-to attempt, right? The battle is the left arm right there by Starocci. Now the hips, the strong hips. Now the shin whizzer.
Incredible defense from Kemerer. Just over 30 seconds, first period. The Hawkeye able to square up.
High level, guys. Put that on the tape right there.
Fingers, let him go.
Jim, what does it do as an athlete when you give a guy like Kemerer 2 really good attacks and you can't score?
Well, you know what? You just keep going, right? You just keep going. You don't get frustrated about that. Actually, you gain confidence that you were able to go ahead and get in there. You just got to make a few adjustments, and maybe later in the match it'll open up. But for Kemerer, boy, he's really fought off really hard and really well. Incredible defense right there by Kemerer. To the inside, great defense there by Kemerer.
Incredible. Quick escape from Starocci as Kemerer
and that's
content to give him the escape.
You know, Shane, that's the thing that's been impressive about Starocci is that he does all the little things well that you don't see. I mean, creating those flurries and all that, but getting out quickly.
Quick escape, 1-0 Starocci.
This is a pace, the way this match is going. Again, Kemerer has not been able to get to the legs of Starocci. Once he does, he's good at cracking down. But Starocci's been the one to get to the shot. So this is the time in the match right now where I think that Kemerer really has to come forward and show what he has on his feet. Look for him to take a little risk.
Very similar to that national final.
Yeah. Right there, once again,
green stalling, green.
Stall warning right there. A little bit better finish right there. Now he's finishing below. One more time in on the shin whizzer. He jumps off that shin whizzer. Starocci coming up hard. Now he's got an opportunity to go ahead and roll through. Kemerer has the near leg. Now he gets a little bit of elevation. Can he come back into it?
Kemerer looking for a takedown. Probably going to get into a stalemate situation. We'll see how long they let him wrestle.
At the key time there, Starocci got a little bit of elevation himself. Notice how he's gotten his head up and he's got a better position to create a stalemate. Adjustment there by Starocci, looking to kill Sanders.
Gentlemen, fingers, let him
hard
go.
With the collar tie, then go into his shot. See if he, right there, there's the collar tie for Starocci. And these sequences have been right there.
Here's his best opportunity on a single leg.
Does he have enough time?
10 seconds left for Kemerer. A lot of pressure there from Starocci.
No control.
We're going to go 1-0 to the third. Fortunately for Pat Lugo, two-time All-American.
It's just a shame of what happened with those Pat Lugo and Luke Fletcher, Colin Moore, Vincenzo, and Mark Hall.
Look at that flurry. Starocci stays right with them. He's got the ankles. Now he's going to work up.
Yeah, and he's great job of following here. He's collecting riding time.
Tough work in the top position from Starocci as the Challenge brick is whipped across the mat.
It's warm in here. In this situation now, Kemerer coming out using those hips.
Goes with an underhook.
How strong is Starocci to keep that going for as long as he did?
1-1. So Iowa is out of challenges for the remainder of this duel. Penn State still has their challenge brick in hand. So Iowa cannot challenge any more calls. Of course, the officials, at their discretion, can elect to review a call.
Both wrestlers have been so close on their attacks.
Each with an escape. Clock shows 60 seconds here in regulation. Starocci's been the closest on his feet.
No question about it, but is he willing to go back in there and battle those hips in the third period? There's a little misdirection there by Starocci. I like what he's trying to do there.
Fake from Kemerer.
Kemerer's the guy that he drops back in the leg. Counter shot there by Starocci, but he got the head stuffed a little bit. Kemerer does. And this is what's been amazing to me watching Carter Starocci develop in his career, is that he does not give up those easy
Quits. No give from Starocci.
Yeah.
Here comes the crowd, and there's the Nittany Lion head to the outside on a single leg, but the hips from Kemerer.
He's got the grip broke. Now he jumps in on the leg. Can he knock him down?
15 seconds.
Shelving the leg.
A roll from Starocci as they scramble late in regulation. No points. And at 174, how fitting.
Yeah. There's a
Second victory.
And the timer, a little time issue right there. At one point in time, the clock was frozen at 6 seconds. So I'm assuming that they'll be able to just run this out and they'll end up going to overtime after a short break.
2 minutes on the clock.
Fingers, let him go.
Both with an escape.
Loving this new rule of the 2 minute on the feet. Sudden victory. Who's going to take the chance and get right after it? Her finger clasp right now.
Let him go, let him go.
Let's go Hawks, the chant by the Hawkeye faithful. Can Michael Kemerer put Iowa out in front?
I like what Starocci's doing. He's getting in that kind of a boxing stance here where he's forcing him to move his feet here, creating a little activity.
Let's go, gentlemen.
It was a double leg that won him the national title in St. Louis. A 3-1 victory in that national final.
It'll be interesting to see whether Kemerer just goes right back at it. You know, he's the best probably in the country that when you go to start your shot, he's leaning into his. Right there.
Below the knee.
Right there. He's going to be able to go ahead and do it.
Starocci's got his left leg.
And he's going to elevate right here. If he can elevate, he puts himself in the Merkle position right there where he laces that near leg and gets the head and arm, he'll score.
No control.
He's trying to creep in that right arm.
No control.
Look out, look for the left toe right there. You can't do that. That's potentially dangerous. Got to catch that quicker.
Hey, let those on
So
fingers.
much
Let him
tension.
go.
30 seconds.
What's it going to be?
There's a shot from Starocci. And in that single leg, head stuck to the inside. Kemerer now has him flat.
Can he slide that ankle out?
Final 10 seconds. Can he get it?
Control, gentlemen.
Behind the ankle, or behind the arms. Does he have the locked up there with the Merkle position? Doesn't look like it.
He gets the takedown. Did he beat the clock? That's the question. I believe he did. Sweat dripping. They got to be exhausted. Quick stand up. Coming up underneath. Now adjusting his Kemerer.
Kemerer didn't want to stay with the position, so Starocci able to get the quick escape.
That surprised you?
A little bit, yeah. But, you know, it's going to look for Starocci just to take that advantage into the next position and try to go ahead and see if he can do the right out.
Hey, let go of those fingers,
right now to
gentlemen.
get going.
I'm surprised he didn't get a little more gritty on top. Explosive stand-up, but Starocci stays with him, snakes in his right leg.
Nice change over right there. He's got the hand covered. If he can go ahead and continue to get the hips out, you don't have to hand fight. You just got to keep moving.
1, 2,
Look at the
3,
power from Starocci.
4, 5.
Come back into him. There's a stall warning. They're getting a count.
On green. Yep, that's started.
5 seconds on the clock. And Carter Starocci
Nothing.
with a
Still green.
supreme effort.
Match is over. Iowa.
A little problem with the clock again here in the building. It says 42 seconds, but Carter Starocci wins a big one for the Lions.
2-1 final. In East Lansing, 3-2, his first loss of the season. .197 and heavyweight. The Hawkeyes, they trail it by 6. They'll need some theatrics. It's a knockoff Penn State. Warner's been third at the Big Tens on 3 occasions. The 3-time Illinois state champion from Tolono, Illinois, wrestled at Washington High School down in Southern Illinois.
And who knows with this 197-pound weight class, really what we're looking at here. It seems like everybody from second-ranked guys, and of course, AJ Ferrari, we're thinking about
guys.
you and the situation that you're in here, and I'm sure you're watching this, and we would like to wish for your speedy recovery. But these guys, this weight class is much more balanced than it was last year. Got some guys coming back off of red shirts out of the portal, and it's wide open. And you could be seeing a match like this in the consolations at some point in time in the NCAA tournament that would go a long way to settling who's going to be the team champion.
197 in the Big Ten, 5 of the top 10. Cameron Caffey into the top 10 after his big weekend. But it's a tough weight class, and when you look at the national landscape in the national tournament, this weight class is going to definitely play a key role in deciding who's taking home trophies.
Yeah, Shane, 15 and the 3-seeder. What difference is it? So it'll be great. And in this match, Dean, NCAA runner-up, 184 pounds. He knows how to get to legs, really good at finishing. And that's what Warner does right there. Able to get the takedown.
Good counterattack from Warren, and a mad return out of bounds.
Tip of the cap, man.
In tough matches, Jim, those difficult things make a big difference.
Yep. And who was good at mat returns?
Jim Gibbons could mat return.
Back in the day. That was an excellent job by Warner there, getting that short angle. And that's what he's always been able to do. That's always impressed me, to be able to win the tight matches. He knows how to, he's got these struck out of that position right there. You see the right elbow came back and really made that grip really hard, but Warner was able to make the adjustment by coming into the crotch right there and taking Dean back to the mat.
Has not disappointed. You knew there'd be a lot of great individual battles, and that has played out.
Look at the adjustment that Warner is making. He's getting that crotch there and running it. We're trying to keep weight on the hands. Dean's doing a good job of coming up, but he finds himself in the switch position. Who's going to get that? It's an advantage position here for Dean.
Scrambling in the final seconds of the first period.
I think he's got points right there.
He's got to be careful.
Well, I think that position was favored Dean. That's the Winn-Dixie.
Yeah, 2-0 lead. He's on bottom here to begin second period.
Trying to erase a little riding time because Warner's going to be tough on top.
Well, we saw this last week, Jim, against Patrick Bruckey. Dean was so good on top. Credit Warner there with the escape because Dean can ride.
He certainly can. He was able to go ahead and ride Bruckey in that match and then get him out of position. So, again, the work that Warner needs to do in this match is, again, forward pressure, get that little angle again, and know that Max Dean is as comfortable as he looks out there, right? He's going to be on the attack. He can attack both sides of the body.
Dean, a 2-time national finalist in 2018. Then, as you said, Jim, down at 184, that big win at the national tournaments, knocking off the Buckeye Miles Martin. And beating Drew Foster of UNI to stand atop the podium. Inside of a minute.
I'm really going to be surprised if Dean can't get to that leg at some point in time in this match, and we end up in one of those scrambles again.
Saw a funny picture today, Jim, of Gabe Dean, three-time national finalist, two-time national champion, wearing a Penn State wrestling sweatshirt. Of course, he lost to Bo Nickel when he was going for his third title, but great guy in the sport. Dave Dean, of course, their dad, wrestled at Minnesota. Great family. Dave Dean, one of my favorite guys over the years. Here's Warner. He's so good, Jim.
Yep, able to stuff the hips down right there, but he's not able to get to the shot. Now counter shot there by Dean, so both guys firing away late in the second period.
Love the intensity. Here's Dean, going to work his way back up to his feet as he recovered from that shot.
So critical at that point in time. Took the straight-on shot, and at that time, Warner not able to get anywhere close to going around it. So Dean is making some gradual adjustments in his attacks here. Look for him to come into the crotch there. He's got the right arm around. Dean doing a great job of covering the fingers right there. That was a great adjustment. He's made some great adjustments in this match so far.
Fingers, guys.
Riding time is at 52 seconds, so he does not allow that to go over a minute. He's a takedown away from tying this.
Working hard with that double underhook, taking some territory. Again, you don't want to push too low, too hard, because Dean changes levels really well.
Penn State trying to snap Iowa's 28 Big Ten dual meet win streak.
Here's the battle within the battle, Shane. Right? Can Warner continue to go ahead and drip to the right, stuff the head, maybe get an attack in? Can Dean get to that left leg, right, the one that's all taped up right now? That's what he's trying to get to right there. He gets to it right there.
And he gets a skull call.
Danger one.
One count, neutral danger. Now he got both of them.
So close to near fall was Dean.
Holding on for dear life. Now he comes back and gets to the other ankle. He's got to try to pass it.
No control, gentlemen. Easy.
I thought they maybe gave him the takedown. They did not.
No.
Dean trying to tie this up. He should score here. There's the two.
40 seconds left. He's got the lead.
This reminds me of last week against Brucky. He needed the ride out to force sudden victory. Cranking away on a bow and arrow.
Easy.
He's got that elbow deep, really tight. Extending those toes. Now he figure fours that area there, but not much time.
20 seconds.
You don't want to go too hard with this, but he goes all the way with it and collects the back points.
And Penn State is going to snap this win streak. Once again, Max Dean gets it done in the third period. 4 near fall to close it.
Tremendous match. Tremendous conditioning. Tremendous adjustments during the course of the match here to gradually improve, always improving his position, winning those battles within the match. Max Dean.
An 8-3 decision for Max Dean. Bunch of high fives from his Penn State teammates. These two met last year in the Big Tens. Cassiopi winning 9-0 in major decision. But that was then, Jim. This is now.
This is now, and you know, Kerkvliet is certainly healthier right now, which makes a big difference. How impressive was that win that he had against Mason Paris, where he was able to go ahead and get 3 takedowns in that match against a guy that you know, except for his matches against Gable Stevenson, has been looked unbeatable. And he just pretty much kind of picked him apart. Straight on shot there by Kerkvliet. He's in a good position. Great job of finishing it. Chest sealed up against the legs, driving through.
Kerkvliet 11-0. 9 of those 11 victories, bonus points. And you said it, Jim. He's healthy. He's been able to settle into that Penn State program. The #1 recruit out of the country in 2019 out of Sibley, Minnesota. Was a 4-time state champion, wrestled for Gopher All-American Will Short. But he's a different guy this season.
He really is. And you know, what impressed me about that match is that he was able to go ahead and get on those legs, You know, he's got a long set of legs right there. You take a look at that frame, and he's long, but he doesn't have to. He's good at coming off his knees. You know, some heavyweights, when they get back to the knees, the shoelaces go flat, and there's no drive, nothing left here. But this guy lowers his levels, kind of splits the scissors, and attacks, and he can step up.
Both these guys weighing in today right around 240. Of course, Cassiopi took some weight off, and Kerkvliet put some weight on.
Right now,
here we go, big position.
Great position for Cassiopi. He's got to force these types of positions right now. Bear hug, see what happens. And moving back in, he wants to go tightly. He's got him on his back.
But rolling right through Kerkvliet. Cassiopi went for it, and with that takedown, he's got his first lead. He's out in front, 3-2.
Yeah, and Cassiopi's tough in that position. For a while there, it looked like he had it tight enough to go ahead and take him to get back points. Good job by Angel Rivera there, giving enough reaction time.
So fortunate because that arm was trapped.
Yeah.
40 seconds.
Again, Tony Cassiopi really
Work
tough
here,
in the
gentlemen,
top
both men.
position, can put a lot of weight on. He's lost a little bit of weight this year with his body changeover that he's got, but he still has the skill set to be able to go ahead and lock the guy down and keep him on his hands.
This is a big 20 seconds here in this first period. For giving up the first takedown, Cassiopi with an escape, a takedown of his own. And he's got riding time over 30 seconds.
Knocking that arm out a little bit, just slowing Kerkvliet down. Good answering takedown and ride out for Tony Cassiopi. Well, it's a lot to ask a guy in this situation to kind of go and get after it, but I think that upper body action really did favor Cassiopi. I think that Kerkvliet was a little bit out of position, not comfortable.
And with Cassiopi's top work, that leads Kerkvliet to choosing neutral, not wanting to go underneath. Cassiopi
Fingers,
third
gentlemen,
at the Big
let him go.
Tens, third at the national tournaments. Two-time All-American, he was first team in 2020. Kerkvliet at the national tournament entered as a 9 seed after his 4th place finish, fell to Cassiopi in that 3rd place bout. He finished 7th.
You notice how Cassiopi's slightly shading to his right, okay? Trying to get a little bit of a corner right there. And part of it's due to Kerkvliet just basically kind of giving him that left shoulder right there, but Cassiopi's taking advantage of kind of living out there on the left ear. Kerkvliet, it's tough for him to create a better angle.
Fingers!
He's also got that left leg back, so that's why the action of the match is slowed down. You know, they've scouted and saw that the attack that he was able to do on Mason Paris was to that left leg, so they got that left leg tucked back pretty hard.
Stop. 10 for the top 5. What a night for heavyweight on the Big Ten Network. Gable Stevenson and Mason Paris, Tony Cassiopi, Greg Kerkvliet. Late in the second period. All 5 points being scored in the first.
Waved at that a few times, that little moved ahead and waved at the lead leg. Not enough time to finish it anyway.
These teams have been so good at the national tournaments. Cale Sanderson and Penn State winning 8. Tom Brands and the Hawkeyes have won 4 under the guidance of Coach Brands, most recently, of course, last March.
Riding time working down there for Cassiopi, and I guess Penn State's bench has decided to go ahead and give the intentional release, so 4-2 score.
Takedown away from tying it. There he goes, sweep single.
And he got to it, but a nice job of Cassiopi squaring up, dropping the hips. Now he'll get on the attack. Goes right back into that bear hug situation.
Here we go again, inside trip.
Inside trip, something big can happen here.
Oh, Cassiopi brings down the Nittany Lion. Who said heavyweight's not exciting wrestling, Jim?
Oh boy. Big guys going at it.
Nobody has left before heavyweight tonight. Cassiopi now up 6-2. You just don't know how those are going to end.
Keeping him down in this position. 42 seconds left in the match. Going hard with the spiral ride. Not really coming out to the side with it, just kind of directly behind.
Cassiopi, 5 seconds for taking riding time over a minute.
Work here, gentlemen.
6 unanswered points from the Hawkeye Cassiopi after giving up that first takedown.
The Penn State bench just leaped for joy when they saw their man get in on there. But that, once again, we've seen great defense from both these schools, squaring up, and then Cassiopi goes right into that bear hug, and he wins the leg lace bear hug position. This is going to end up being the Penn State win. Huge win for the Lions. They keep the momentum going into Big Tens.
Tony Cassiopi, hard-fought victor over Kerkvliet at the decision for the Hawkeye at heavyweights.